Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. As you can see from this beautiful Luminarch here, we're going to be back with the Empire taking on the Lizardmen. This is actually just a friendly match between myself and Lore Master of Sotek, so you can guess who's playing who. Let's go over the army compositions as the Luminarch charges up here. I've gone with a bit of a faith-focused build, not full-on, but we do have the Archlector on foot leading the way here. We've got him with 3 support buffs, Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, and Grand Soulfire. Brought the Grand Soulfire in particular because I know Lore Master of Sotek likes to bring Slans, so I figured if we were facing a big banishment or something from a Slan, it'd be useful to have this Grand Soulfire. Unfortunately, he didn't, actually, so we're not going to get the greatest value from that, but still. The bombardment itself can be decent. We've got the Luminarch, Templehof Luminarch, that is. Jade Wizard, front line of Great Swords, which I don't take these guys very often. Not the biggest fan, or at least I wasn't in previous patches, but they seem to be improved, especially with the buffs from the Archlector and the Warrior Priest. They can do pretty decently against a unit like Saurus in particular. Pretty solid. We'll watch this shot impact over here as we go over some of the other units. We've got a Warrior Priest supporting the Royal Griffiths in the woods there, and some Empire Knights around the flanks. I like Reiksguard better, but Empire Knights, because they're a bit cheaper. Obviously, I wanted to bring Great Swords in the front line, so I needed to cheap out somewhere. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my build. For Lore Master of Sotek here, he's got Saurus Oldblood on top of some Temple Guard, 2 Saurus Warriors, and 2 Saurus Spears. This poor Skink Priest, Lore of Beasts here, who just got blasted. 2 Cold One Spear Riders, a couple of Skink Cohort out to the flanks with some Chameleon Skinks, Skink Javelins up front, and some Pterodon Riders. One of them has Fire Leech Bolas, one of them does not. So without further ado, let's get the battle into full gear. And I wanted to show off quickly, there's about to be a horrible bug where, you see, I just want you to make a note of this. The Skink Priest is actually well outside of the range of the Luminarch here. You can see this yellow line right here is where the range ends, and here's Skink Buddy over here. So he goes well out of range. You can see the Luminarch, in fact, actually stops firing. He actually gets hidden, right? So he runs in the woods here. You can see he is indeed hidden, and the Luminarch somehow shoots him again. I have no idea how that happened. Some like laser designator or something right there, but I had actually clicked an attack order to shoot those Pterodon Riders, and I thought that was a stray shot because I couldn't actually see this Skink Priest. Lore Master of Sotek, on the other hand, of course, thinks that I have hacked the game or something. I'm not really sure, but anyway, that Skink Priest, unfortunately, is going to shatter, and so right from the get-go, Lore Master of Sotek is going to be lacking his magic. We're going to watch as the Great Swords and other Empire Infantry clash with Saurus here. I mean, obviously, spears will get cut through, but with the Archlector in here, you know, he's going to mix it up with his dual hammers. One of you had pointed out, it's unfortunately he doesn't have armor piercing, and I agree. He definitely not should have armor piercing, but it would be fitting since he has the 2 hammers. But the Great Swords that are getting buffed up by him are actually matched up against Temple Guard, so they're doing quite well, trading very cost effectively there. The Templehof Luminarch are going to pop off a shot and cut through quite a few of those Cold One Spear Riders there. The Empire Knight's going to be collapsing on the rear of some Skinks and some Saurus here, doing a nice little rear charge. Empire Knights can be pretty effective in that role. They're not, like I said, not as good as Reiksguard, but you know, you wouldn't expect them to be for their lesser cost. But still, despite the Skink Priest going down, balance power still pretty even. A little bit of friendly fire there from the Templehof Luminarch, but it did actually allow those other units to get routed off. Of course, combined with the terror from the Royal Althorp Griffiths, who are being buffed up by this Warrior Priest here. So, you know, we've got the Archlector for the infantry, we've got the Warrior Priest for the cavalry. You can see the Fire Leech Bolas raining down from above as well. Templehof Luminarch dropping its bound net of Ammontok. Unfortunately, we're having to use it on a Skink Cohort, which is not the best, but you know, it's better than having that Templehof Luminarch get caught up in combat there. We're going to start shooting. I'm not really sure. It looks like we have an order on that Saurus Oldblood, but unfortunately, because of the targeting there, I'm actually going to go back towards those Skink Cohorts. So a little bit of a waste there in terms of that net of Ammontok, but let's see if it's able to make solid contact. A glancing blow. It didn't do as much damage as it could have, but that Saurus Oldblood came in and did a ton of damage to the Archlector. However, the Archlector was able to buff up these Great Swords enough to beat those Temple Guard. I don't know if they actually beat Temple Guard baseline. I'd imagine he'd be pretty close, but the Empire Knights also coming in for a nice rear charge there, just kind of ping-ponging around, not wanting them to get caught up in any one place for too long. Cold One Spear Riders trying to push up and around the flank here to get in on the Templehof Luminarch, I would imagine, or else some of my characters, but we are going to counter them with the Empire Knights interrupting, and there's also this unit of State Troop Spearmen hot on their tails, so yeah, should be able to get those Cold One Spear Riders dragged down. My Lord managed to escape there, the Archlector and the Jade Wizard also escaped there, so we're going to try and rally all the characters together. Unfortunately, I've left my Royal Altdorf-Griffites to go on a wild goose chase here, which is a little bit unfortunate. We're going to try and bring them back to the battle, but you can see these great swords here being supported by the Warrior Priest in a very late game engagement, just trying to slug it out with these Saurus here. They definitely will do well, don't get me wrong there. And here in the center, this unit of great swords has done very well taking down the Temple Guards and so on, but they are about to face a rear charge from some Cold One Spear Riders, so that's a bit unfortunate, but yeah. Very fun stuff, beautiful cinematics in this battle. We'll come have a look at these floppy hats over here, duking it out with the Lizards, with the Chameleon Skinks on station, firing in from the flanks. And, ooh, looks like another Templehof shot going down on those Cold One Spear Riders, trying to finish them off. Unfortunately, it does hit that tree. Not the best, but the Royal Altdorf-Griffites have actually taken a lot of damage from the Skinks as they kind of ran back towards the battle, which is definitely unfortunate. They're now facing these Cold One Spear Riders here in a very pitched late game engagement, rear charge by the other unit, and they're actually probably going to get routed off here, unfortunately. That being said, the balance power is definitely tipping in my favor here. You can see the Empire Faith Death Squad here, or Death Star rather, has formed up. The Warrior Priest, the Archlector, and the Jade Wizard fighting in this mess of Pterodons here. But the Pterodons will eventually get routed off. There's only really Skinks here to support the Saurus Old Blood. Most of the Saurus themselves have either been routed off or are in the process of being dragged down by great swords. So yeah, definitely not too often you see the Empire win an infantry engagement like that, and I don't know how well this tactic would work against another heavy infantry faction like Chaos or the Dwarves, for example, but it may be worth looking at, certainly. I think Turin has released a couple replays trying out that tactic, but just in general, I quite like where the Archlector is now as a character. He's super cheap, has some really cost-effective buffs, so yeah, he helps your Empire units, which are sometimes not the most cost-effective, definitely trade above their weight class. Great Swords in particular are a unit that at times in Total War Warhammer 1 in the early days they were just blatantly overpowered, but right now they're not crazy overpowered. I would even say they struggle to be cost effective in a lot of situations, but in this particular battle they definitely paid for themselves. It was a bit risky, going with such a heavy infantry corps because, of course, Lizardmen have heavy dinos. I figured with the Royal Altdorf-Griffites and with the Luminarch we'd be able to blast out dinos if Loremaster brought them. Most people don't bring dinos against the Empire because they have such good armor-piercing missiles, obviously, that they can just shoot them down. But, yeah, ended up working out pretty well. I don't think Loremaster Sotek was expecting such a heavy infantry build, just because this is not something that I typically will do. But it ended up working out pretty well. Of course, the gift, cheating Luminarch is always helpful. And, yeah, that's definitely a bug, guys. That was not... I actually issued an attack order to shoot the Pterodons instead. And it just, I don't know, they had like leftover targeting data for the Skink Priest there or something. I'm not 100% sure how that happened, but anyway, bugs aside, still a very fun battle. The Chameleon Skinks actually did quite well, especially against the Royal Altdorf-Griffites there, kind of dragging them down after I overextended and sent them on a wild goose chase. When they were coming back to the battle, they were taking a lot of hits from those Royal Altdorf-Griffites, so it's definitely unfortunate. But yeah, great swords. They're all right. I'm starting to warm up to them a little bit more. I'll have to use them in a few other situations and see kind of how they do. A lot of the mid-tier kind of great weapon infantry, I would say from like, 700 to 900 points. Some are cost-effective, some are not. And so, are great swords cost-effective? We'll have to wait and see. Certainly in this particular battle, they did prove to be, although they've always been a decent pick against the Lizardmen just because they'll cut through Saurus and even Temple Guard very, very well. So, Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. What do you think of the faith leaders for the Empire now? Have you been trying them out, having success with them? I always love reading your comments, so let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.